I'm Heather, and before we get started, please LSN, like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. Today we're going to be talking about writing structures, and this is basically how you organize your story. These four that we're going to be talking about, I don't actually use. I use an outline with bullet points, and I write out not just one word, but like a little phrase so that I can keep it all organized for like what events happen next. Because if you're like me, I don't write in order. With writing structure, what we're talking about is literally beginning, middle, and end, what the meat is of your story. I write whichever parts excite me the most or that I've been thinking about for a long time and they're stuck in my brain. But that way I know that I'm writing my best. My best quality of writing is going to show up in those. And some people are like, well, wait a minute, don't you get confused? Well, no, because that's why you have your writing structures, is so that you can go back and refer to them and get them all lined up neatly so that your novel flows the way that you want it to. So this first one we're going to be talking about is a storyboard. I've gone ahead and pulled up some examples of what a storyboard can look like. Storyboards are mostly used for movie and TV show script writers. It's where, as you can see in these pictures, you can actually draw out the events of what happens. You can use sticky notes to mark the characters and the things that happen in order. Or you can even have a drawing and write out the information. It's however you want to organize it. You can color code and put more specific details. So this next one we're going to talk about is called a mountain map, and you probably recognize it from second grade. And it's the cute little one where you have the dash here and the cute little peak up at the top and then the line down at the bottom. Then you have these dash marks here that you can put like the beginning, the climax, the end, and all the stuff that happens in the middle. This is good for teaching just so that like kids or even beginners can see what we mean by outlining the events so that they play out nicely so that you know where your climax is. Now, as I've mentioned before, I've said the words elements. Elements are your characters, your climax, your setting. Your plot is what the meat of the story is. It's the center of your story. And we'll talk more about the elements in a different video. These next two structures we will be talking about are ones that I knew of, but I didn't know that that's what they were called. So this third one that we're going to talk about is A, B, D, C, E. Not your ABCs, A, B, D, C, E. And this is an acronym for action, background, development, conflict, and ending. And we're going to go over each of those and what it means. A stands for action. It's where you can start your character off in the middle of some intense scene. So you can start it off with like them being chased or in the middle of a very bad storm. you're already thrown into an event. And so it gets you excited. B stands for background. This, of course, is either the background of your character or where this all takes place. I don't want to say setting because you can have multiple settings. A setting doesn't have to be just the house. It could be the kingdom. It could be the overall theme element of how you're setting up your character for the whole novel. But the background is information that can help you know what's going on. You can answer the questions of who, what, when, where, why, how. D stands for development. What is like the conflict? What is building up to this problem happening to your character or characters? C stands for conflict. So what is the problem? And how did it happen to your character? What does your character want to achieve or accomplish? What are they trying to overcome? And then, of course, the ending is where everything gets wrapped up neatly in a bow, and hopefully you've resolved the conflict. But you can leave it to where you can set it up for another story or novel. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but this one and the next one, I've noticed that people use it a lot for short stories. So, but no one said that you can't implement these into a bigger novel or to whatever you're doing. This fourth and last one that we're going to be talking about is SWBST. Now, this is similar to the ABDCE because we are talking about structures, and so they're all similar. It's how you just put together your events in your story, and this is a different way, a different order to it. So SWBST is a structure that helps support and teaches about the elements of the story. Yeah, what I just said. It maps out your events, but maybe in a different way than the other ones that we've talked about. I feel like ABDCE and SWBST gives you more of a free space to just reorganize your story, so you don't have to typically do beginning, middle, and end. You can have your conflict at the very end. You could kind of start your conflict near the beginning, and you're kind of just mixing it up a bit. The S stands for somebody. Who's your main character? Tell us about them and their lives, maybe like their childhood. W stands for wanted. What does the main character want? Characters are always striving for something, whether they know it or not. And why I say it that way is because sometimes when even in life we're going about our day and stuff like that, we don't realize what we're actually seeking for or what actually is good for us until it starts happening to us. And you can add that into your stories as well to make them more personable. The B stands for but. But what is the problem? So once again, what's your conflict? Try to nail that down as best as you can and really write it out so that you understand how deep of a conflict that is, because you can actually have multiple conflicts that build on each other, and that's what the overall bigger problem is throughout your book or your book series. The second S, I should say, stands for so. So, how does the problem get solved? How do all your problems get solved in this? Now, they might not all get solved in one book. This is what's great about the last structure we talked about in this one, is you can set yourself up for more novels, more problems, more characters, and you can just continue onward. The T stands for then. Then what is the outcome? Not only what is the outcome to your main character, but maybe the world that they're living in. What happens after the ending? Did everything truly get resolved? I hope us talking about these different organizational structures for your story helps you. I know that I'm trying to get better at my organization skills right now. I do, like I said, I write out everything in an outline, but that gets changed up. I mark it up, I make multiple different lists, and lots of papers. And I need to get better about this, because then hopefully I'm not so scatterbrained, and I'm typically not. But it might seem like it because of all the paperwork that I have and all the notebooks that I have. But like, that's just me, and you have to do what's right for you and what works for you. If you have a different story structure or outline or organization thing that you use for yours, I would love to hear about it. Put it down in the comment section or go to my Facebook page. I'd love to hear about it. And I will see you next time. Bye bye, storytellers and story lovers.